Hi, my name is Austin Zoot, and welcome back to the Zoot Perspective Web Congregation. We're back after quite a long time off, after a little bit of time in Israel where I finished up my first year of rabbinical school, and now I am back in Cincinnati after having spent the summer in LA. So, I'm getting ready to get started with my second year of rabbinical school, and that means there are lots of things that I'm learning, which means there are lots of things that I then get to turn around and share with all of you. This week, I'm particularly excited because this week's Torah portion is a special one. In this week's Torah portion, we hear the very famous line, Tzedek, Tzedek Tirdof, which means justice, justice shall you pursue. Now, I think that this is a particularly pertinent topic for today, for our lives that we go through every day, because we are constantly looking at the world around us and constantly seeing things and places where we want to do good. We want to look around and find ways to make the world a better place, find those things where we can get involved and we can make a difference and we can do great things. One of the subtleties of this Torah portion, and one of the subtleties of this line in particular, is that the word tirdof is used. You shall pursue. Now, I did a lot of thinking about this, and it's interesting because we don't get a word like justice, justice shall you uphold, or justice, justice shall you continue. It's very specifically shall you pursue. What that tells me is God knew in giving us this commandment, God knew that injustice was inherent in our world. We don't have a perfect world. The goal is not for us to have a perfect world in God's eyes. What we actually have is an opportunity. What we have is an opportunity to look at the world around us and see where can we make a difference to pursue justice, to go out and look for it and find it in the real world so that we can make justice a reality rather than uphold the justice that already exists. Because in many ways there are places where justice doesn't yet exist. By telling us justice, justice shall you pursue, it's looking to the future. Justice doesn't exist yet, but we have the opportunity to make it happen, to bring it, to have it return to our lives in a way that it may not have happened before. I think that that is our number one job as humans, our number one job as people who are reading these holy texts. It's to look at these texts and have them serve as foundational for our understanding of how we look at the world. And what this portion is telling us is tzedek, tzedek tirdof, justice, justice. Go look around, go find places where it doesn't exist, and make it happen. Bring it to our world and allow justice to permeate into our lives, to permeate into our world, and to make justice a reality in places where it may not exist. You see this every day in what's going on in the news. We hear about Colin Kaepernick, who is not standing on the sidelines, but rather sitting in favor of trying to stand up for justice. Whether you agree with it or not, his statement is pursuing justice. In today's political climate, there are so many people saying so many different things about what they believe, about how they believe the world should be. I don't agree with all of it. I agree with some of it. I don't agree with other parts of it. And it's my job, and it's their job as politicians and as citizens of the world to look at the world and say, what is my version of justice? How do I go about making that happen? How do I wake up every morning, get out the front door and say, how do I make today a little more just than it was yesterday? How do I make today a little more holy and meaningful than it was yesterday? This week's Torah portion is telling us it's okay that justice doesn't already exist. It's our job to go make it happen. I hope each of you can wake up tomorrow, can wake up today and say, it's my turn, let's